So welcome guys to the developer meeting on 7th of September 2025. This will be a very short one. I'm just demoing the current situation of Aloha, and I put my new station out finally after 1 year on the attic. It's now out and running, and I want to demonstrate this to you with a quick Do you see my screen, Carlos?
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm now on remote desktop on the station. That's the camera controller running in manual mode, let's say. So started by hand, not by eCal. And it runs in 5 frames per second and with a very close 0.08 delay. What else is important? I increased the exposure up to the maximum exposure up to 180,000 microseconds, and I reduced the max gain down to 50 decibel, because I found out that above 50 decibel it's an increase of noise. So I think we should limit it there. Cooler is steadily on the minus 20 degrees. The dome is rather clear, and what you see here is half of the screen here is part of a wall of a stable. This is just a temporary place for me because I have very easy access. I will place it somewhere where I have a full sky view, of course, but for now it's just 50% of the sky view. Yeah, what you see is basically what the camera sees in the dark sky. And actually, I think within this noise we should see some stars somewhere. No? Why don't you see stars? What's good? There's one. I think it's a little bit moisture in the air. That's why it's so flickering. And yeah, there it is. You know, most of these stable points that are reoccurring, lighting up, are stars. We just have to stabilize the image, because that's what you see here is just raw data. It's just the photon count on an exposure of 180 milliseconds. And per frame, you see color changes. And this is, first of all, it's due to the moisture in the air. And we need to compensate this so that the amount of light is more stable over time and not flickering like this. You see, this is, let's say this dot here is always at the same point. Nothing is moving. And there are more of them. Every other thing that is moving around, jumping, and that's pure static. But these points that are reoccurring in the very same place, that's stars. Yeah, just needs to be stabilized. But Christian is working on this, creating the master biases and the whatever biases there are, to make this more steady image. For me, it was just important to get the camera out again and to have it running. And also see, I hope the background subtractor is now working. Okay, that's a bummer. Much better. Yeah, I still have to overcome this. This is due to, it's still not done, that the history of the vibe background subtractor is not updated during exposure and gain changes. And I think this is also true for the GMM at the end. Because we have to be more reluctant during exposure and gain changes, because then the whole picture can be from one frame to the other, can be totally foreground. So now this is the, did I click the background mask? Yeah. So nothing is really moving here. Today I caught some birds flying around here. I think it was swallows, tiny little birds. Flight height, I think 50 to 100 meters, somewhere there. And I really could see their background subtractor contours being traced over the sky. Yeah, I didn't record it because it was so nice to see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, the rest is still working. That's the ADSB stuff. The background subtractor is 0 at the moment. Yeah, it's 0. Yeah, I let it run outside because I want to see also how it changes exposure and gain over time, or during nighttime and dawn and daylight. So what all these parameters are then adjusted to. Because I'm always adjusting now auto exposure to a so-called medium point, 0.5, 50% between pitch black and bright white. So we can shift this. And it certainly has to be adjusted to daytime. Or, I don't know, amount of... I don't know. I think Kristen and Yannick have to talk about this, how atmosphere and backlight is disturbing our contours. So, yeah, and I got a little friend. First time the dome is outside with the camera, and I have a little guest sitting right on top of it. It's a little a sparrow. You see the legs? He was just sitting there for a couple of seconds, turning left to right, and then flying away. So. Okay, just to give you, I'm still sharing. Cool.
Hey, I have a question real quick.
Yeah,
Thinking about animals. How much heat does the unit produce? Does it produce enough to like provide a warm place for animals? That might be a consideration for the future.
So you mean when you don't need the box anymore, you can use it as a chicken coop?
No. I'm saying like when it's out, when a unit is out in the field, if it's in like a cold environment, it might attract animals if it's producing heat.
Yeah, that could happen. Yeah, that could happen. It's somehow attracting bees. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the static, the electrostatic something. The glass dome is attracting spiders. I don't know why. Maybe spiders have an affinity to reflective surfaces, or maybe it thinks that because it's a glass dome that's underneath, it's hollow. So it's an opening, and she wraps her net over it. But the fun thing is the net is bent, so she weaves it over the dome, bent over the dome. Looks kind of funny. Yeah, yes, you could be right that underneath, for example, mice can have a nice place to stay over the winter. That could be an issue.
I was just thinking of any potential issues with animals, setting up their home near or on the unit.
So I had a unit. My very first unit was out for since 2020 to 2022. So for 3 years it was out. The only thing I had to do is to clean up bird poop because it hits the dome. They are so precise in their work that can hit a little dome from, let's say, 10 meters height or so. I don't know.
That's funny.
No, actually, that's on the dome, and yeah, bird poop is actually the most stuff, and fly poop. Flies can poop, and they have this nasty, sticky, yellowish drops. And when these drops sit on longer on a surface, it must be acid in it, so it really creates a ditch into the dome. So the more insects, the more I think we should clean domes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the dome itself, it doesn't get hot though, right? Or warm, maybe
The,
is
the
a better
dome,
word.
the dome or the hood of the enclosure.
The dome itself, like where you're getting issues with like
I get it.
some bugs droppings and stuff.
Where is it? Yeah, this one. So you mean the glass dome here?
Yeah.
Bigger for you to see. So where it gets heat, so actually the dome itself is transparent. It's one of these domes that are made for optics. They are not the most expensive ones. So these come for $20 or so.
Gotcha. But I was just curious because I'm thinking any part that's, out in the field for a while,
Yeah.
and it's producing heat, and it's potentially in like a cooler environment or something, it's going to attract bugs and animals and things. So that's the only thing I'm thinking about.
So coming inside, if you're not familiar with the design itself, it is a ventilation route here. So here is the power supply, sits on top of it. Maybe you can see it better in this image here. Now you don't see the power supply. Can you see inside? Yeah, there's the power supply. And the power supply sucks in here. So it takes air from the inside and blows it to the bottom. And the bottom is open. That's what you see here. Now you don't see it. But you have to believe me, this is an open hole in the floor. So it sucks in air and blows it out underneath. So everything that creates heat inside here, at the end, this heat is blown out through this ventilation of the power supply unit. So yes, the inside temperature shall only be ambient temperature. We're not actively cooling the system right now. I'm situated in Austria, which is a medium climate, I would say. I had no issues with my electronics inside this white box for over 3 years, and I had within 3 years all season changes. Heat was never an issue, but of course, this is Vienna or Austria. It's not the desert, it's not New Mexico, and it's certainly not Canada or Alaska. And if it's cold, that's the less problem, because electronics creating inside is producing so much heat to keep it, let's say, above freezing point, because this power supply unit has a built-in thermostat that controls the ventilation. So it depends on the temperature that meets this resistor, whether the fan is activated and at what speed. So when it's freezing, then this ventilator is certainly not blowing, meaning then if it sucks out air, then here is the air intake. So the air comes in here from underneath, runs through the whole box, and goes out through the power supply unit, which is a big fan. At this point here, so that no insects can come in. Oh, you can see. I didn't make this in this picture. Ah, damn.
Mhm.
A sec, is there another picture? No, it's closed. Okay, I have to tell you, there comes a little gauze, which is a little mesh. It's a textile mesh called gauze. Gauze. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that comes on top of it. It's cheap. It costs cents, and you get it in all kind of grades of granularity of, let's say, throughput openings, cross distances between the mesh itself. So you get all kind of qualities and for a rather cheap price. And you can even add, let's say, if you are in the desert and you have sandstorms, you can put other kind of filter paper or filter material textiles over this intake. Just make sure that it's not dense, or if it sucks too much that it becomes dense. It could also fill in here the box with sand, for example. Then you're running in an issue. So make sure to put this on something that's like this in a height where there's a hollowness underneath, so you don't attract animals and have a distance to the ground. So the air comes in here, blows out there. So if there is 0 degrees in Alaska, then this one is not running, and temperatures inside is until it reaches a temperature where this blower starts running. So it controls itself. If it's too hot, then we have an issue. Because the blower can just, I think, 25 times per minute? No, 75 times per minute. I have to look it up. It's in cubic meters per hour is the value of this one, CP something. And I've calculated it down, but I'm not sure whether it's 15 or 75. Just a number times the volume exchange per minute. So we have at least, so I take now from my old brain, I take now 15 as a low value, 15 times per minute, the exchange inside the air inside the warm air is blown out. But fresh ambient air is sucked in. And that's why at the end, it should end at an ambient temperature inside. But if the ambient temperature is outside already 50 degrees, then you have 50 degrees inside, which is more or less 25 degrees on top of the CPU temperature, for example. So if the CPU runs normally with 50 degrees, then you can easily add 25 degrees on top of this. That can go into issues because some electronics are only designed for up to 80 degrees or so. Most electronics can overcome up to 90, even 95 degrees Celsius for short periods. But we want to run 24/7, so permanently, we should keep it as low as possible. So if you are in a desert where it's very hot, then you can put other things. For example, you can put on the outside reflective material. So there's this styrofoam. It's with an adhesive layer. And on the other side of the styrofoam, there's a reflective aluminum-like foley. So you can attach patches of this on the outside just to reduce surface, to reflect the most heat, let's say. So there are ways to overcome. Depends on the situation. I mean, and if you go mobile, then you have a totally different situation. Yeah. Next step is to add the RF antennas. Yeah, and to activate the tracker and see what happens over the day. Okay, it's a very brief update on my side, and I want to close recording for now. Bye, guys.